Global War 36 enthusiast here with a video about understanding Abyssinia. In the beginning of the game, Italy and Abyssinia are at war, and the three-sided nature of this game comes into play where there can be some wheeling and dealing, some diplomacy, because the French can lend lease to Abyssinia. The Italians can send down more units to put pressure on Abyssinia, but perhaps diplomatically, the Russians can be enticed to lend lease to Abyssinia. Let's explore various endgame scenarios for this struggle. The first is that Italy just comes in and takes out Abyssinia. So if Italy possesses Eritrea, Abyssinia, and Italian Somaliland, all three of these, then they have achieved their strategic objective. I'm going to slaughter the pronunciation of this because I don't speak Italian, but it's Africa Orientale Italiana. If they have those three, they get 2 militia, 1 colonial infantry, and either 1 airbase or 1 major port upgrade in Eritrea, Abyssinia, or Italian Somaliland. That occurs immediately and once per game. But what if the Italians possess Abyssinia and there's this bizarro scenario where the Abyssinians possess Eritrea? So how could that happen? That's where if the Abyssinians had some mobile land units that could attack into Eritrea, and they took Eritrea, but then the Italians, say, attacked from Italian Somaliland into Abyssinia. In that case, the Abyssinians are alive. Even though they don't hold Abyssinia anymore, they are still in existence in Eritrea. And so they could continue to fight then. They will get their recruitment role in that scenario. And they might even receive lend-lease. Let's say the French built a minor port in Eritrea, then they could even receive lend-lease in such a scenario. That's very rare, but it's just nice to know that just because the Italians take Abyssinia, the fight can continue on. But if the Abyssinians only held Abyssinia, there's only 2 places the Abyssinians can be. They can either be in Abyssinia or Eritrea. They're not allowed to attack anywhere else. That's just into Eritrea. So if they don't possess Abyssinia, well, they've been wiped out, right? If they don't possess Eritrea and the Italians take out Abyssinia, they're done. The conflict's over. Abyssinia is defeated. There's no more lend-lease. There's no more recruitment roles. However, Italy and France, or Free France, may continue to attack each other in Abyssinia and Eritrea without a declaration of war for the rest of the game. Let's talk about what happens if the Abyssinians possess Eritrea. The first question is, has France surrendered? So if France has surrendered and Abyssinia takes out Eritrea, then immediately all Abyssinian troops align with Free France, and all possessions of Abyssinia become Free French. Italy and Free France may continue to attack each other in Abyssinia and Eritrea without a declaration of war for the rest of the game. If Abyssinia takes out Eritrea, but France has not surrendered, then Abyssinia aligns with France, right? Because France is still in existence. It hasn't surrendered yet. And at this point, Italy and France may continue to attack each other in Abyssinia and Eritrea without a declaration of war for the rest of the game. After that happened, let's say that Abyssinia took out Eritrea, France hadn't surrendered, now the Abyssinians are aligned with France, but now France surrenders. What happens then? Well, Eritrea and Abyssinia, either one of these, if they're possessed by the Abyssinians, by the French, sorry, at that point they'd have aligned to the French. If either one of these are possessed by France upon the surrender of France, then those territories and all units within become Free French. Italy and Free France may continue to attack each other in Abyssinia and Eritrea without a declaration of war the rest of the game. What happens if the struggle is continuing? Maybe the Soviets have lend-leased a significant amount into Abyssinia, and the French have been committing a significant amount of material to Abyssinia, and the Italians are unable to take them out, and then France surrenders. What happens? Well, only a major power can control a minor power. So Abyssinia isn't aligned yet. It's still controlled. It's been controlled by France, but now France has surrendered. Free France is just a minor power. It can't control a minor power. So this is a rare situation where control of a minor power switches. It switches over to Great Britain. Great Britain now controls Abyssinia. Okay, what happens if Italy doesn't stay neutral in the World War? It declares war on a major power. Let's explore those options. Let's say before France has surrendered, so France is still controlling Abyssinia in that scenario, and Italy and France come to be at war. What happens? Well, Abyssinia is controlled by France, and France is at war with Italy in this scenario. So whenever a minor power that is being controlled is at war with a major power, Italy, and the controlling major power, France, is also at war with the same major power, then instantly that controlled minor power aligns with the major power. So if Italy and France somehow came to be at war before France surrendered, then Abyssinia would align with France. And then upon French surrender, just like we were talking about before, Eritrea and Abyssinia, any possessions that they held between those two, and all the units would go free France upon French surrender. Okay, now let's talk about what if Italy and Great Britain come to be at war before Abyssinia is aligned or defeated. In that case, Abyssinia would align with Great Britain, right? Because now Great Britain is the controlling major power, and it's at war with the same major power, Italy, as the controlled minor is at war with. And so Abyssinia would align with Great Britain in that scenario.